welcome to the cab of the combine. This is Beet Farmin Mitch, and today we're farming pinto beans. So you probably know what pinto beans are, but you might not know how they're grown, or harvested for that matter. So in that case, today should be a fun one. Welcome to the Red River Valley of North Dakota. A land flowing with milk and honey. You're watching Beet Farmin Mitch. I got a coffee can full of pinto beans here. They look really good. You can see a few splits in the hopper, but it's not bad. The scale ticket's been 1% about, so coming back good. But if the beans get too dry, splitting could be a problem and you get docked for that. So I'm in our 8240 here, 45-foot flex header. Combining them similar to soybeans. They're more finicky. You gotta really be on the ground. Gotta make sure you're picking them up and cutting the ground good. So we got our air bar on. That helps to feed them through the header. Kind of get rid of some of that loss. We're combining at a 7-degree angle. It seems like if you try go up and down, it just doesn't feed as good. And sometimes your divider will be hitting a row. Going at an angle works well for us. But anyway, let's see what pinto bean harvest looks like from the sky. Back in the cab. Oh, broken sickle tooth. They're always fixing during bean harvest. So going a little slower, going 2.9 right now. Just want to make sure to cut them and get them in good. Sometimes you can go a little faster, but these are really laying down, so trying to make sure we get them raked up and blown into the header good. The bean crop's decent, but the prices, much like everything else, is on the weak side. Ready to get the pinto beans done. Munching on some beans. Yeah, you always gotta watch going by the trees. You got a branch down. Don't want to send that to the combine. Like we got a few more good ones up here. Shelter belts are nice to have in fields. Sometimes they kind of help with heat. Oh, yeah, the shelter belts in fields, they're kind of love-hate. Seems like around the shelter belts you get a little more heat units. Kind of makes fields better. Less risk of blowing, but you gotta pick sticks and there's higher disease pressure. Our main disease problem in pinto beans is sclerotinia white mold, and it likes to live in shelter belts. It's a bad disease here. We sprayed, we kept the crop, but it still got dinged. And if you're going and you see a big black streak behind the header, you probably have a sickle tooth out. Combine beans. Johnny. Ah, we got a few more in here. We better pull these out. Don't want to send that through. Yeah, when the reel is up, that's the universal sign you got a broken sickle tooth. Or your header's full of mud. People often ask me, hey, why don't things go wrong on your farm? Things break for us all the time. Well, they do. Things break all the time. Usually just when something breaks, the first thing I grab is a wrench, not my camera. So we don't use a grain cart for pinto beans because if you send it through too many augers, it splits them up. Looks like we got a hawk looking for a snack over there. They know when there's like tillage going on or combines in the field, they know there's gonna be mice and other critters running out. The last pass. I have never hit a mailbox or a sign. Okay, I have touched a sign before. Sometimes, you know, you just kind of touch the top of it. That's not really hitting it. You know, a little fist bump with the header. This is pretty cool right now. I feel like I've been having a little bit. The lighting, the combining, the people. Life's good. Can't forget to enjoy life and be thankful because it goes fast. See, the problem with combining beans sometimes is it gets a little dusty and you can't really see it. And if you get a big pile, you hit a piece of metal or you break a sickle tooth and you push it dirt, you'll have a huge pile of dirt there before you know it. Then you gotta go clean it out and that's not fun, especially if it makes its way into the feeder house. So you can see here I'm just kind of lightly raking them in. I've got the reel going just a little bit faster than my ground speed just to kind of gently pull them into the header. Just got this little bit of a corner left and then we're officially done with pinto beans. And over there too. And just like that, we're done with pinto beans and on to the mystery crop. Boom, and just like that, we're cleaned out. That's right. We're farming Tic Tacs. So these are navy beans. They're a really good bean. If you ever eat Bush's baked beans, it always says prepared navy beans on there. They got a little more snap and flavor to them than pinto beans. Pinto beans are a little meatier. The main reason I stopped was because I got a sickle tooth that fell out there. Sometimes there's a chunk of steel in here, you always gotta check that. New tooth. Look at that, white gold. Nice white colored beans. I mean, there's some dirt in them, don't get me wrong, but that gets all cleaned out. Just like that, we're combining beans at night. We want to try go hard and get some trucks loaded tonight because beet harvest is right around the corner and we're gonna be busy with that soon. And it's time to get the beans off. You never know when the weather's gonna turn sour and things aren't gonna go so well. We're going like 2.6 miles an hour right now just because it's hard to see. Want to make sure we're cutting good. It is a little tougher. We got wind though, so we're gonna go in the dark. If you got the wind, that helps keep the beans dry and the dew doesn't set in, you can keep going. We had a big day combining today. We got a lot more done than expected. Today went very well. So we're just unloading our last hoppers of the night, gonna finish that truck off, and we'll see you guys in the morning. Well, good morning. Hopefully today we can get our navy beans done, but that doesn't mean the bean season's over yet. We got a third one. So every morning, kind of daily service, fuel everything up, check all the oils, blow out the radiator and air filters, check and see if there's anything else broken. But one of the main things I do every day is back here. There's the chopper teeth on the drum there, but then there's stationary counter knives below it. And they get tripped every day. You know, you send a little rock through or something goes through and they get kicked back. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a couple kicked back right there. So I'll go in there, I'll pull this flap off and we'll reset some of those. I like to wear earplugs in there because having a earful of bean chaff in the morning is not a great way to start the day because you have to lay sideways in there. But it's not too bad. Once you get the system down, It's not too bad. Okay. So we got our impact, 1/2-inch drive. Usually stick a 13mm in my back pocket. Found this to be the best tool to get those teeth out. They come out in sections. So this is a impact 18mm 6-point socket with a 3-inch extension. I find if you have the short socket with the extension, it kind of fits between the chopper teeth better. But you gotta have the 6-point, because if you use the 12-point, you'll strip those nuts off. And a hammer. And since I got 3 combines to do, we decided it's easier to just have a few sets ready to go. One last sip of coffee before we go in the chopper bay. So you can lift this whole spreader unit up by pulling the locks out, but if you do that, you can't get the ladder down, and it's nice to be able to have ladder access for fueling and blowing at the same time as fixing chopper teeth. But I'm on my own for a little bit, so this is how I like to do it. First things first, you gotta clean all this off. That's my step. And if you pull this rod here, you can push that down. Okay, so we're up in the back of the combine here. If I turn the light on, you can see the rotor back there and the concaves. That's where the grain comes through. And then when it makes it all the way back through here, it goes through the chopper. So most of the teeth are okay, but you can see there's a couple kind of half kicked back, and then there's a small section there that's completely kicked back. It doesn't ever look bad from the bottom, but when you're up here, there's always something to do. So then these ones on the drum, sometimes you'll break one of those, and then your chopper will be out of balance, and you got to replace those on each side. And then those bottom ones, they are stationary teeth. So you got to take these little pins out, and I like to put them over this. I've never lost any this way. Also, if I ever have a wrench, I'll do that. Now you gotta clean all this junk out. This is what you don't want to get an earful of. So there's 4 blades per set, and if you look under there, this is that 18mm nut. So sometimes there's this one and it's in the way, so I hammer it up. One down. Got a few more to do. I'll show you what it's like when I'm done. Looking pretty good now. So I always got to hand spin it too and make sure that the teeth on the drum aren't hitting anything. Sometimes you got to adjust stuff. Finish fixing the chopper teeth, fuel these up, blow them out, inspect everything, check the sickle teeth as well, and we'll see you in the combine in a few minutes. Back in the navy beans. I suppose we better send the drone up. Kind of fun to see the white beans in the hopper and in the truck. we're officially done with navy beans. But this is a special video because this video does not feature 1 bean, 2 bean, but 3 different bean types. So we got our pinto beans done and we got our navy beans done. That finishes up our dry edible beans. We got 1 more bean. It's coming at you in 3, 2, 1. Well, you guessed it, we're in soybeans. So we got a couple fields of soybeans to do and what we done with bean harvest. There they are. So we solid seed our soybeans, so they're in rows, 7.5 inches, so pretty narrow. And we just combine back and forth. So we don't do it at an angle with these. If we planted them in rows, maybe we do them at an angle, but it works pretty good solid seeding to just go back and forth. It's pretty fun too. It's nice having a grain cart, you could just keep going. Got my uncle, my brother Casey, some truckers, my dad. Good old family operation. It's kind of wet here, so I don't have a lot of down pressure on, but it's doing a good job still. Could really go for a Bison football game on the radio right about now, but it's Friday. Well, we're not done combining here yet, but this one is because I started throwing fires out the back of the combine here. I had a bearing go out, and it was pretty freaky. We're good, but I hope it's a bearing. There was one that was hot. So that could have been not so good. But we still got a combine that didn't burn down, so that's nice. Anyway, this is Beet Farmin Mitch. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to keep it sweet.